Compromise is not good enough for a lot of my colleagues in Congress.
Progressive lawmakers in the House have committed to caving to Joe Manchin and his crap after he held a press conference complaining that no one else is compromising but him. Check out this crap. I'm going to play this Manchin part of this press conference, and then I'll get to the response from Pramila Jayapal, the chair of the Progressive Caucus.
Twice now, the House has balked at the opportunity to send the BIF legislation to the president. As you've heard, there are some House Democrats who say they can't support this infrastructure package until they get my commitment on the reconciliation legislation. It is time to vote on the BIF bill, up or down, and then go home and explain to your constituents the decision you made. And I've always said, if I can't go home and explain it, I can't vote for it, and if I can, I will. I've worked in good faith for 3 months, for the past 3 months, with President Biden, Leader Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, and my colleagues on the reconciliation bill, and I will continue to do so. For the sake of the country, I urge the House to vote and pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Holding this bill hostage is not going to work in getting my support for the reconciliation bill. While I've worked hard to find a path to compromise, it's obvious compromise is not good enough for a lot of my colleagues in Congress. It's all or nothing, and their position doesn't seem to change unless we agree to everything. It's time to pass the bill and quit playing games.
All right, so in a bit, I'm going to get to Pramila Jayapal's response here, the chair of the Progressive Caucus. But first here, as I said, I usually have a high tolerance for bullcrap. It doesn't set me off the way it used to, but this was beyond the pale. I mean, first of all, he didn't take any questions. Notice how he just ran off because he knows he's full of shit. But he says here, he's been working hard to find a compromise. Working hard to find a compromise. It's all or nothing for my colleagues in Congress. Only one side has compromised during this entire negotiation, and that's the progressive side. So the initial figures that were floated that progressives actually wanted was 10 trillion. Then Bernie came in with 6 trillion. That was kicked down to 3.5 trillion. And that's what they ran with for a while. And in the negotiations, only they have caved. Manchin has caved on nothing. He kept saying, no, I can't have this, can't have this, can't have this. And this is after, in January, before Biden took office, Manchin was supporting 4 trillion in spending. But now all of a sudden, can't even support 3.5. The amount of crap during this, it was 6 minutes, and it was just completely full of shit. It's incredible. And God, I wish he took some questions, because maybe, I mean, the press here doesn't have a good record, but maybe there would have been a question about his history on supporting 4 trillion. Maybe there would have been a question about how can you possibly be putting this on progressives and saying they're not going to support this unless they get my vote on the budget bill. Yeah, you're doing the same thing. Like, how can you complain about that while you're doing the exact same thing by withholding your vote on the budget bill? It's, ultimately here, a big issue is with how progressives handled the bipartisan infrastructure bill to begin with. Instead of pretending that is a great bill, which it's not, it's largely a corporate giveaway, 19 Republican senators signed off on that. You're not going to get 19 Republicans to sign off on a Biden bill unless it helps them in some way. And how does it help them? It helps their massive corporate donors. That's why they had 19 Republicans, and there wasn't much fight over that, because it was completely a giveaway to corporations. So progressives should have never treated that bill as a good bill. The entire time they should be saying the only reason we're going to support the bipartisan infrastructure bill is because we're going to get a vote on the budget bill and we're going to pass the budget bill. That is the only reason. Otherwise, we would not be supporting that infrastructure bill. If that is the way they frame this discussion the entire time, then they would be benefiting from that right now. But because they pretended that both bills were good, they're now stuck in the situation where they have to, they're now feeling like they have to sign off on this bipartisan infrastructure bill before Manchin even signs off on the budget bill. So here is how Jayapal responded to this, and it is a sad thing to watch.
We now feel like we have what we need. We are taking the president's word at the fact that he believes he can get 50 votes in the Senate. And, I hope that the 2 senators that we've been waiting on these months, who have come to the table in good faith and negotiated that they understand that this is a leap of faith. But assuming we get these final negotiations done, we're ready to pass both bills. And I think the caucus feels very good about the fact that we've been able to do what we said from the beginning.
That last line really got me. The caucus feels good that they've been able to do what we said from the beginning. At the beginning, they said they would not compromise on $3.5 trillion. They also said they would not vote on the infrastructure bill before the budget bill passes. What did you accomplish that you said you would accomplish from the beginning? What are you talking about? This is completely giving in to Joe Manchin. And that's after he's not even committing to the budget bill. He still isn't committing to that. And they're taking a leap of faith, taking the president's word. Oh, yeah. The same president that said he would pass $15 an hour, didn't get that done. The same president that promised $2,000 checks, didn't get that done. You're taking this president's word that he's going to be able to get Joe Manchin and Sinema on board, who have not agreed to anything and who have continued to cut down the budget bill. Wow. That is embarrassing. And I will be shocked, absolutely shocked, if this bill, this budget bill, the way it's formed right now, if it gets passed, if Manchin and Sinema support it. Absolutely shocked. There's almost a 100% guarantee that will not happen. There is no way that Manchin and Sinema will support the budget bill the way it is right now. I'm happy to be wrong. I will love to be proven wrong. But the way this is going, how can you possibly think they're going to support the bill? Unbelievable. Now, I just want to share a few data points here. So first, from the Economic Policy Institute, this is from September 20th. I think I've covered this before, but I want to bring it up again in the discussion of this budget bill. 17 winners of Nobel Prize in Economics signed letter in support of President Biden's Build Back Better package. And this is while it was $3.5 trillion. So 17 Nobel Prize economists support the $3.5 trillion version of the Build Back Better agenda. Meanwhile, Joe Manchin is worried about, got to worry about the debt. When 17 Nobel Prize winners in economics say, no, you don't have to worry about that, maybe you're full of shit. Maybe you don't actually care about actually helping anybody, doing anything that will actually benefit society. All you care about is your massive donors and your coal money that you are making personally by not doing anything substantial on climate change. Also, of course, I'm sure I've shown this before, majority of West Virginia voters support the Build Back Better plan. Again, this is back when it was $3.5 trillion. So they say here in the poll, some lawmakers in Congress are proposing a $3.5 trillion investment plan. This plan would expand Medicare benefits and make healthcare, childcare, and long-term care for seniors and people with disabilities more affordable. This plan would also invest in clean energy and extend tax cuts for most families with children. Do you support or oppose this investment plan? Net 43%. So 68% support, 25% oppose. And by the way, across the board, it's a net positive. So even Republicans, 22 plus 22, 56 to 34. And of course, Democrats, 90 to 4. So of course, Manchin doesn't care about what his voters actually want. That doesn't matter at all. It's about his money. It's about his donors. That's the entire conversation. Last thing here, this is another way to look at the play here, though I think this is misguided. But Ryan Grimm tweets out here, Ilhan Omar, the CPC's whip, tells me, quote, it's time to call his bluff, as in Manchin. These bills will pass the House and everyone will get to see if Manchin is willing to vote it down. He will. He said he will. So I don't know what you're expecting here. It is also time to see if President can get his friend on board and get the votes for his agenda. No, he won't. And they'll just pass the corporate giveaway, which, by the way, if you just pass that, it's a net negative. Just passing the bipartisan corporate giveaway bill, the infrastructure bill, that is a net negative. It's better not passing anything. But here they are. Incredibly embarrassing. Horrible leadership in the CPC. Jayapal, if this continues, and of course, when they fail at this strategy, she has to be replaced by somebody else that actually has some fight and knows what they're doing and isn't going to back down to friggin' Joe Manchin and his bullshit. But there you go. That's the fight so far, and we will see if progressives are proven right, if actually voting for the bipartisan infrastructure bill before getting Manchin support for the budget bill, if that will somehow get Manchin to all of a sudden come out and support the budget bill.